We are now live.
Oh, hey.
I think
Oh.
if there's anyone watching the stream, which there shouldn't be, but if there is, they can tell me. I don't know. I am HolyTispoon here with an update on PBD 100, the craziest ASYNC game with 25 players, which is going to be dwarfed by the crazy things we're going to start doing soon. But it's the craziest thing we have going on, and with me is Master Fish Tech Master JadimJedi.
Hello there.
I wanted to say Master Fish, and it came out Master Chef.
Master Chef. Love
It's
it.
a little tongue twister there.
Yeah.
Hopefully I won't get voted out of the kitchen this week.
I hope not.
Oh, we do have one watcher. Do we?
There we go.
And
I
you're
turned it
watching.
on to watch. I wanted to see if there were other people talking. I was going to interact.
Yeah. Well, I don't see the chat. Why don't I see the chat? There is chat. I don't see it. Anyway, Beck is watching. He is our. We'll talk about Beck in a moment, or soon. We also have here with me my buddy, Brassbird.
What's up? Yo. Let's
yeah.
rock.
I am really not super focused today, so this is going to be real weird. But we also joining us, we have Token Monster Eronous.
Hello, I am sick.
Aw.
You also are sick.
Yep.
Bummer.
Hey, the tornadoes didn't take me, but the sickness did.
The tornado didn't take you. Yeah, you were under some harsh winter.
I woke up, half my tent was gone.
That's messed up.
You were in a tent?
Yeah, I work outside. As it's been mentioned quite a few times, I work outside. My state currently just got hit by a ton of weather. Worst experience. And I was
Wow.
outside for all of it.
Wow. Well, we're glad you're safe. Big time.
We are. And Eronous, you play Mahawk in PBD 100. In fact, you play quite a bit of Mahawk in general. Is that true?
When running the numbers, someone ran the numbers on the bot, basically did whatever bot show stats, and out of like 160 total Mahawk games, I realized that I'm playing 12 of them. So
That's significant.
I'm a significant percentage of the Mahawk population.
Yeah, I'm just right now in the stream, I'm showing your meme. I like them quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a shame that...
It's a shame what?
What's your professional opinion on the meme?
No.
Oh, I love it. And I was going to say that I still need to make the eggs benediction meme. Sergeant Buck came in and got some good ones, but I still want to do my take.
I think you got scooped on that already, Brass.
Yeah.
Sergeant Buck coming in hot.
Yeah, no, big time.
Sorry, Sergeant Bug.
Sergeant Bug, hot memer.
Yeah.
Look at that business.
I have he's Winnie the Pooh version. And then
there were two versions floating around.
Yeah,
and then I like that one.
There's the second one. There are 4 of us, so that's going to be a challenge to keep the conversation going. But I want to say, Eronous, you had 2 versions for your I like him meme. I really liked the touch where you had all the different games in the background. That was real cool to see. Stroder's Paradise there going on, like all these.
Oh yeah.
The text of the actual games. I love to see it's like PBD 529, PBD 462, PBD 685. It's like
it's really ridiculous, and it's even funnier that it doesn't count fog games.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
All right. So what's going on with PBD 100? We'll also talk about PBD 500 later. We'll do a sneak peek of that, which is why I mentioned Jail Beck. He is alongside Eronous. Those are the 2 new bot helpers we have on the async servers. Incredibly helpful bot helpers in different ways. We'll talk about those ways. Eronous did a lot of the art for the new planets, new tile planets that were needed for PBD 500, and Beck did just a lot of the work and is still doing more work about it. But before we jump into that, Jadim Jedi, you of course, an avid tech enthusiast, are playing Jol-Nar. We did discuss our last episode. We talked about Nomad Coin a lot. We had Simple on, but we did discuss the brutal eliminations by Jol-Nar of the Necro, and then later on of Winu. We can see Winu. We're right here. I'm kind of going to show it on the map. There was once.
They're gone.
Yes, there was once a Winu.
Yeah, it was pretty dirt nasty. Like the fucking Stroder 2 curb stomping was a sight to behold.
By the way, as
but
I'm looking at the
I don't
map,
know how much you showed of what was going on last time, but we had quite a few fighters to contend with. Jol-Nar obviously got that awesome commander and reroll ability, and we went Stroder 2 thanks to some early tech pops, and we kind of went crazy doing this. I like to think we were stimulating the economy with all the things that we bought from everybody on timings and cards and notes and blah blah blah. I'm pretty sure we bought stuff from Bugs as well. There's a whole bunch of other different factions.
You got to spend all that ERAS money on something, man.
Got to throw that money around, and eliminating Winu. It's kind of a meme. It's kind of my thing. They're also just, I don't know. Nobody else seemed like they were going to do anything about them, and they're just kind of sitting on Mechatol most of the game. So we were just like, yeah, you know what? We can take the Winu home system, and if anybody else could take Mechatol, that'd be cool. And everybody else just didn't kind of do anything, so we were like, yeah, we'll just do that too. Why not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, as I was zooming in,
thematic as well, like the Jol-Nar having a direct hand in like unseating the power on Mechatol Rex. That's thematic. That's lore appropriate.
Committing war crimes with War Sons.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's lore appropriate, right? Like, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I like to think that I've done some very lore appropriate things, also known as sit in my corner and repeatedly talk my way into dying and out of dying.
Well, I think the Crimson Legionnaire farm that you have going on with Simple is like actually a very Mahawked thing. Like how evil do you got to be to like just like keep raising tons of Crimson Legionnaires for them to just die to a bacterial weapon, and then you just like keep raising more of them. Putting them in the meat grinder. Like, that's some evil Mahawk shit.
You see, they're immortal, and they have no feelings. Therefore, they're simply prophets.
You see what I mean? Super thematic Mahawk shit.
Yeah, I was.
This is the third time I've gotten this engine online.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, no, I've seen the screenshots of just like, 60 trade goods, 80 trade goods, or whatever,
So look at what happened. I muted myself in Discord, but I was not muted on stream. So I'm trying to talk, and y'all are talking over me in the stream. This is going to make for a great video. This is great content. This is professional. I told you I'm really out of focus today. No, I was going to say, as soon as I zoomed in on Winu in the map to show, as you were talking to Jadim Jedi, a bunch of Mentak ships appeared in Lysis Velnor. Which is right by. So it was kind of funny to have this kind of live going on. But yeah. I mean, Teklar Legion was also sold to Jol-Nar in their invasion of Winu. What was great about it, I mean, Jadim Jedi, you can talk about how long. Look at this. I'm zooming in right now on Finn used game eliminate player 1 Roku. That was the command of eliminating Winu.
I think Finn created that command for this.
Yeah, he actually, if you scroll up a little bit, you see I'm writing an eliminate command later today.
Savage, bro. So savage.
So savage. But yeah, with Finn, I know Jadim, you were like JJ, you were like, yeah, punching Wino is my thing, and I'm sure you plotted it for a while. But also, it's like it was very Finn, like meticulous. We're gonna get cavalry, we're gonna get Tekla, we're gonna get war funding, we're gonna get like every possible note and agent in the game ahead
Oh
of
yeah.
time,
Oh yeah.
planned. It had like the IFF, it had Crucible. Where that's why it took so while, because you have like 18 people need to confirm that they're like doing the deal, and then like last minute, of course, we were like, why don't you not do this Titans for your Titan agent? And they were like, look, this is what Wino had on Mechatol. So that was actually
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
smaller force. Was it the smaller force? It was also pretty sizable, and it's the Wino
They were both pretty
flagship.
sizable. I think that was the harder fight because of the flagship. The
Yeah,
flagship for us was tougher.
Yeah.
yeah, 11 fighters, 3 mechs, dreadnoughts, 2 PDSs, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, all those mechs, they ain't shit. Turns out when you're able to win the space and just have War Sons with X89 that go crazy,
Yeah.
they either lose all their infantry or they start losing mechs. I believe they chose to lose all the infantry on that particular battle. Either way, yeah, it was pretty brutal. Didn't even think, like, at the time I made the deal for X89 with Simple. Simple was just doing it for the memes with Mahakt on doing Crimson Legionnaire. I'm like, yes, we can do that for you because Jol-Nar, and we can just kind of do whatever. And B, we can actually go and do that same thing ourselves and just go and wipe out infantry wherever we kind of want to. And we really put that on display here. Like, both the ground combats were a whole lot easier because of that, and just went in and just kind of wiped the floor. And yeah, Finn's definitely a great partner. I like to think that Finn puts up with my meme plays. But the meme plays have done some good things too. Like, we
Oh
did
yeah.
our whole action card or research agreement memes at the very beginning, got us a lot of techs, helped us kind of get to this position where we can do silly things.
It's all part of the balanced breakfast. The meme plays and the meticulous strategy, and
Yes.
yeah. So that's wild.
Yeah.
So one team is single-handedly responsible for 2 other eliminations.
Yeah, and they're still sitting pretty on Mordai with the Jol-Nar flagship. It's like these are also good planets, These are,
Yeah.
four
As if they needed the money.
Yeah, we'll get
As if
to
they
the
needed
money,
it.
right?
Well, I mean, we're not the richest faction, but we're certainly on the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Sure.
right. So let's dive. So we know we're going to talk about some Nomad coin schemes that have just happened.
First of all, can we just like tell everyone like exactly where we are in the game in the round? Like,
do you know? Like, because
is it round 5? Are we in round 5 or round 4?
I thought we were round 4, but we can
Round
scroll up
4?
and see it.
I thought this was round 3.
We're all
It is
idea.
definitely round 4. It is definitely
Okay,
round 4.
It's like just about near the end of the round. So Mantis
Yeah.
and I passed a long time ago, so I'm like barely paying attention to what's going on.
Did you notice you
To be
lost a
honest.
planet to the Yin Hero?
Oh, we lost 2 of them.
Oh yeah, but one of them is a really significant one.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll figure it out. It's fine.
Brassbird losing shit to the Yin Hero is like,
it's only appropriate. You know what I mean? Like it's only a fucking. I don't know. It's like the ghost of Christmas past is coming to haunt me. Is what it is, right? Like Spoon was there to see it. The fucking first time that all of this happened.
I've seen it several times. I've seen Yin eat you when you were Yin too. I've seen that.
Oh yeah, no, that was like an entirely different situation for sure. But yeah, no, it's just altogether too appropriate. So I can't get too upset. You know what I mean? It's just like it is what it is, baby.
So we're jumping around a little bit. I was going to start with earlier, but yes, the Yin Hero happened. I'm looking at Lapidos, which is a legendary planet in an asteroid
with
field.
integrated, so that's why there's so many infantry.
Yeah, no, that's where there's a lot of infantry in general, which is what Mentech is now apparently doing something about. But with just one mech, I'm kind of confused about this movement by Mentech. I mean, maybe bombard and drop a mech on Velnor and then integrate the Yin. But yeah, Yin did their hero. They also stole another planet right here, Shihan from. Why did they go to Zihan?
I mean, I think it was because Dalbutha doesn't have resources, so they wouldn't be able to do that. I'm surprised they didn't do our home system, but maybe they were afraid that we have BAM or something like that. But yeah, I feel like they just went for Zihan just so they could get that fucking pop off of integrated. But to actually do something.
But there's so many other planets with one resource they could go. But they wanted to pay you back for invading them earlier.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you go in, try and do one strategic move over in the other side of the galaxy, and then it just comes back to haunt you over and over again.
Sure. Yes. That's one way of putting it. All right. Yeah. We also see the Nomad Corporation, of course, took over Jara. Having so much money coming in the future, and the scheme of making money has made Simple, aka the Crypto Nomad module, go crazy. So that's why, because his whole shtick is with Minister of Commerce, if you own this planet, Jara, he gives you extra 2 commodities on the refresh, and just right now he refreshed like 3 times with Yasaril doing the Hakan agent, and then Temporal Command Suite readying it, and then doing it again. So every time he does that, Nomad gets 20 trade goods because he has 20 neighbors right now.
Not bad.
Printing money. Straight printing that money.
But 6 commodities instead of 4. So why not make it 6? You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do this, like, why not make it more? So Nomad is definitely going completely crazy, completely bonkers with it. And he's so loose on his money. He's like, Yasariel doesn't repeal law my thing. So he's like randomly sent to Yasariel 6 trade goods. Mentek can pillage me a lot. So he's like, here's 5 trade goods just for you to shut up. It's really funny to see how like they went from, we're rich in a TI game to, hang on, we are rich in a TI game.
Beyond our wildest dreams. Yeah, I had this really funny moment recently where Alice came over to hang out and actually taught me how to play Root, which was really cool. Actually, that game is really interesting. Not until just now, you know what I mean? But we're just hanging, and I'm like catching them up on all the TI business and everything, and I just said like, oh yeah, and there's this whole thing going on with Nomad Coin. It's like the wildest shit. And they were just so confused because they don't really follow like ASYNC like at all, They're just not into it. So I had to go through the whole explanation and be like, okay, so it's these components, and then essentially turn into a crypto, and now Mentak's pissed because they don't get to fucking pillage the coin, And then Alice lost their shit laughing. Like, literally, it was just like, it was so funny to them. And I was like, isn't it great? Isn't it ridiculous? Like, Nomad Coin is one of the greatest things to happen in, like, a TI game. And I want to say this game in particular will go down in history as my favorite TI game that I've ever been involved with.
Is this stream now sponsored by Nomad Coin? Like what is going on with the top corner here? Did they buy a sponsorship?
Yes. Well, we are unaffiliated with the Nomad Corporation, but I've stepped down from the Sardak team, the bug team, so just to be more of a impartial GM. But I've already been threatened by the Nomad Corporation that my actions will incur retaliation against the bugs, and so I am capitulating. I am bowing my head to my corporate lord.
Please don't squash my bugs.
Don't squash my bugs.
My God, bugs. I love that.
Nomad Coin is very funny, and my relationship with Simple and Nomad Coin has been a very interesting one.
Tell us about it.
I am known
because
I'm known for stirring up stuff.
Yeah, one thing that's really funny is like, yeah, we talked for a moment about the the farm, right? The Crimson Legionnaire farm that you've done with him. Of course, because Nomad was like, oh, it's good. We could kill infantry by Mahak with X89. So he's like, but he also was like, I'm going to buy them the Cabal Alliance, every military support,
Yep.
the Sardak agent. What ways are there to generate infantry that we can do, right? So he's like, he already was like, hey, extra, I want your votes because there might be swords to plowshares, whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
extra, how much for your alliance? There's 12, it's really funny. So, Eronous, what's your part in the Nomad schemes?
So, I mean, my part is about the TI4 Great Depression.
Mhm.
And I've sold myself in a way of, hey, look, if you kind of help me get some things done, help me to help you, we won't break the bank as fast.
Interesting. Gonna try and raise the interest rates on this whole and slow down this economy, and I don't know. This game is exploding into something entirely different.
Yeah, I had a a bug speech to write that I never did. That maybe I will later tonight. That kind of shares what I think about where this game is going. But maybe we'll talk about it later where this game is going. This game is like still chugging along. Like Queen was ahead in points. They've now been eliminated. We're gonna like people are asking me what we're gonna do, and we ran out of objectives. It's gonna be wild. I don't really know how we're gonna go forward because this people are doing so many different things, and like the points are trickling in. But there's one point I want to talk about, which is kind of the reason for this stream, and I don't know how much you all have how much each of you were invested. But JadimJedi, like we were talking to, you were like, I want to be on it when we were talking about it. There is, of course, this ancient war between the L1Z1X and the Muat.
Oh man, yeah. Right. Oh man, talk about some bad blood.
Right.
Oh man.
So as our viewers remembers, which they don't, because nobody watches this except for some people. A few people. I'm in a weird mood.
I keep up with these installments.
Eronous, I don't know because you weren't yet playing Mahak. Mahak was played by a fine, gentle player by the name of Balls, who's still around, but kind of have ceded some of the power. Anyway, so in round one, you may recall L1 and Muat swapped home systems, right? So there's a rift here, which makes those really close. There's a supernova here, but then it turns out being able to assimilate the space dock on the other player's home system is a huge advantage because that just meant L1 could build, Muat could umbat and whatever, but L1 ended up retaking their home system. Now Muat was like, how about we give you fires in exchange for getting our home system back? And there was a lot of negotiations. And Muat is like, we're sitting in a supernova, we can't be eliminated. They're actually sitting in a second supernova right here. Right, there's some more Muat, another Muat War Sun right here. But then L1 activated Desmond, the supernova with Muat, and played the card Nav Suite, which they have purchased from Yasarel just that turn. That's the card that lets you move into a supernova. And then, what happened then, Jadim Jedi?
Dun dun dun. The sabotage heard round the world, I think.
Oh my god, dude. Wait, so who saboed it? Wait.
It was a 3-day stalemate first.
Jazz
did it?
Jazz. He did it to stop the filibuster.
Back and forth.
Yeah, there was some bidding, counter bidding on, hey, I'll sabo it, hey, I won't. And, I think at a certain point, you just got to make your bid and be like, okay, this is what it's going to take, and I'm going to do it because now Yasarel knows you have sabotage.
Yeah.
I got to believe they're coming back at you with Magion next if they... I mean, I don't know. Toron's been doing kind of an interesting way of handling it this game where, roll random, and whoever it is, like, I'll target you.
But
Although,
then
hey,
also a
you could just
fleeting,
give me one,
yeah,
and then I'll
fleeting
just go and
widow.
do somebody else.
He actually didn't come back after Sol, because presumably Sol had a sabo. There was also a big controversy about timing. Did someone pass the timing
Yeah.
window of responding with no sabotage? I'm not going to get into that fascinating, bizarre conversation. But I will say it was an epic showdown where, one person, like what happens a lot in this game, and JJ, that happened in a lot of your activation. Jol-Nar had made a plan. They're like have made it like weeks ago, months ago. It gets to their turn. They're finally like, all right, brass this knuckles. Let's get the IFF. Let's do the thing. And then it's kind of unfolds. And that's what happened with L1. They were like, all right, we're going to
Yep.
buy NavSuite. But then all of a sudden, almost everyone got involved. And, Muat was like, we're going to sell fires for this sabotage. And of course, people are like, that's interesting. That's interesting, right?
Wow.
And
Oh, for sure. Arborek loved that deal.
yeah, and he actually got to Federation of Soul, who said that was Cryptor, who like so many people have replaced other people in different teams. It's very confusing. But no, Cryptor is Titans. It was Epic Nerd.
Epic Nerd, yeah.
Epic Nerd, who was Nazroka before, but also Necro. It's confusing. Epic Nerd stepped into the Soul shoes after Connors and Goodnock were like, whatever. It's been too long. I don't know what I'm doing here.
It's been a long game. It's been a long game.
And he said, I have a sabotage. And then the bidding war started, right? Muat were like, we'll give you this. L1 said, we'll give you that. And everyone weighed in with their opinion about should we do more eliminations, less elimination. And it was like it got really nuts with the
And you want more eliminations, right? That's what I heard. That's what Teaspoon wants.
That's what Teaspoon wants. That's not.
Yeah, make this game go faster, right? Right?
Teaspoon wants the game to go faster, but I have never said anything about wanting more elimination. And you should never confuse me with a certain pirate.
Oh,
my
okay.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that pirate's definitely on the hunt.
Yeah. Mentek
Oh, yeah.
Expendable is after elimination. I don't know why they went after Yin now, if that's part of elimination, but I don't know. The Humble Checkmate has joined their team to stir some trouble.
Avast.
Avast.
That's the new meme.
Oh my God.
The new meme is Avast.
I can show that.
It just shows how uneducated most of us are.
Oh, sure.
Because that's definitely a word already, and like a lot of us were like, "What?"
There it is. No, this one's so good. I'm telling
Sergeant
you.
Bug, yeah.
Sergeant Bug. Such a good memer.
Yeah, I know he's a great meme.
Incredible.
Personally, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
This is like I've never been depicted like a guy in a suit. I do not even know how to really tie a tie. Like that's not my thing, but it's really fun.
Oh
like,
my God.
This
dude.
is so really.
Oh, and that one?
Uncle Ben. Oh yeah, Uncle Ben.
God.
With
Yeah,
little
I mean,
power.
again,
Oh my God. dude.
hero story that begins with an elimination, right? Like that's
Yeah,
just what that one
yeah.
is too.
Wow. Oh my God, dude. Yeah,
So-
the meme channel for PBD 100 has been like a very interesting journey. Yeah.
Yeah, so Eronous, what happened in the wake of the big showdown about the sabotage for NavSuite? What is your take of what does that do to the conversation? What happening in the game around L1 and Muat?
So, a whole other part of it was that I was also threatening Muwat. I was like, hey, I'm willing to help you out. I'll give some money for your cost to buy the sabotage if you send a destroyer into my home system.
Oh, that's right. You
And they're
also
like,
stirred the pot.
no. They just kind of like, I guess we can do it. And then that went through because Jazz was like, I'll just sabotage it. I hate this all. Stop. So on the backhand, when it came to my turn, it was like, okay, Muwat, I'm going to make you a good deal. I have Echo, which is something that I believe L1 was also kind of looking to go after. Echo as
Yeah.
a homebrew legendary plant that lets you ignore anomalies. So it's like I've got enough stuff unlocked that I can wipe you out. And I was like, for the small price of a token, I won't wipe you out. And that's how I got the Mwat token.
So you have it now.
Threatening violence.
Good old-fashioned extortion.
Yeah, and there's I don't know where the meme that Expendable made about Eronous like always coming token. It's like a little bit like that Muppet that goes like oop, boop, 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 token.
The seagull one.
The seagulls, yeah.
Up in the meme channel. That was actually made by me.
Oh, you did that? No, that was the seagulls are really good. No, there it is. Token.
Yeah,
it's very, very good. Eronous, yeah, you've done some really great, some excellent art. Like look at the list. This is Eronos' memes. Token.
Yeah, Eronous, I love those ones in particular that are the illustrated ones. They're just like very warm and I don't know. They make me feel all warm and fuzzy, especially
Paint.
that one.
I need tokens.
The MS Paint.
Oh my gosh, the MS Paint is so on point.
Yeah, there it is. It's not a pyramid scheme. And this is the L1 showdown, of course. I need your clothes, your boots, and your war sons. And
so that was when they negotiated for fires, and then just like it was like, okay, I'll give you fires to leave my home system, and then they just like played fires and then didn't leave the home system.
Yep. And in fact went after their only planet. Yep. That's a good old fashioned betrayal. That's
fat
TI.
betrayal right there. This is TI, baby.
Yeah, and it's because like so many different people like switch in the teams. It's very hard to pinpoint the betrayal on like a particular person. It's a little bit community games vibe. But look at this. This is the activation. Activate the Desmond Supernova on June 14th. Then playing Nav Suite. Then it says, hey, $2 war sons for a sabo.
Nah.
Then taking you to the trading center. And then the sabotage is played on the next day. So it was just like a 24 hours. And Jez, right, I have spoken. Of course, in the meanwhile, there was...
Oh, I remember this one.
I can't even find it. There was a lot going on. So that was really a big thing. And then, of course, another L1 player is asking, are we playing with double AC deck? If not, this is the start of the petition. Do you have a second suite? Anyway, so that was really cool. And I think that was kind of a watershed moment for the coalitions forming around the pro-elimination coalition of some players who are trying to whittle down the galaxy, and the anti-elimination coalition. I think that was like, and of course Eronous is on a team on his own in the get me your token and then I don't care if you're eliminated.
My most recent shtick has been, I'm going to have Benediction next round, the best hero in the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you give me your token, you won't get benedicted against your will.
Yeah.
So,
join the No Benediction Club.
Yes.
There's also a sad reality.
I'm gonna argue with that for just a second. Only I do think the Mahakt hero is very strong, but I don't think it's the best one in the game. I think it's the Winu hero, and that's actually a big part of the reason why. Like it's memes, but look, like I've seen too many times where the Winu, if they're left alone, they just sit, especially if they have Mechatol, right?
Winu double Imperial.
They've got the
ring on
Winu hero that goes score like crazy, and like if they've already got it and they're holding it with large forces like what they had, it's too late. So that's actually I think the strongest hero in the game. Personally,
I think if you're talking in terms of like quality of like helps you win the game towards generating points, I 100% agree with you. I think if you think is like what is, I mean, I'm not even sure that the Mahakt hero is the most damaging one. I think it's probably the the Muat hero, because
The
that can.
funniest.
But Mahawk hero is like it's such a ludicrous uh, disaster to have happened to you. It's like so. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things. I mean, in this particular game, in PBD 100, the Mahawk hero I don't think is going to be that influential. But just like the Yin thing or the Moor thing, people have like nightmares and scars from being like supernova, right? If
Yep.
Muad was capable of scoring point, which they are not, but if they were, if they could, have their supernova. I mean, they can't do it at a home system, and it's not like L1 has a lot of other things, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I carried emotional scars from Nova seats in the past, so I completely agree with that take.
Yeah,
Completely.
So I think the Mahawk
I
hero
have
is
only
like,
Nova seated once,
yeah,
You
only
lucky
once.
ducky.
And it was on Malice, and then I swapped Malice and Mechatol with Ghost Hero.
Ah,
oh, you
I
did the
see.
thing. You did the thing.
You did that
Yeah.
thing.
Is the thing.
So I think that's why Eronous, it's a good like leverage or pressure point. Like it's not, it's just people's scars. There's also this unfortunate reality. Kalaris, I think, was parlayed here on Thiba. Um, so I don't think they have it. I think they wanted the attachment. There was this long negotiation with poor Nazroka, who still have not been able to leave their home system, really.
Yeah.
They're kept on life
Still,
support by
their
Jol-Nar and
commander.
That
everyone
was
wants.
actually that was really interesting for us as well. So there was a time. So when Cabal came in, and you're showing the aftermath here after Kalaris came back, but when Cabal came in, Jol-Nar Alliance PDS, like we could put some pretty good number of shots on it, and we were asked if we would. Um, we ended up taking a couple offers for it, but ended up not doing the PDS fire there. Because we've got this weird relationship. We do we don't have anything personal with the NRA. Like, I don't really care about that, but we have used the Crucible so many times. Like, you can see Corman right next to our home system, and it's like this weird thing. We don't want to make Cabal too upset either, because we know that and like that was actually before we even took Mechatol. So like we knew we had
Yeah.
this big move planned and can't afford to go and blow that move over like random PDS fire for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Crucible is like maybe the most valuable PN in PBD 100, in my opinion. Like just
can-
because of the galactic core being the
Oh,
way
it's
it is.
huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
Could you zoom out a little bit, actually, Teaspoon, and show some of the other rifts in the middle? Yeah, like there are lots of wormholes as well as rifts. Like if you have the Crucible and you have Lightwave, which we do, go figure, tech's good. You can get almost anywhere on this map.
Yeah.
Like there's those
Don't
ones in the
talk to me
center
or
that
my
let you
3
hit.
rifts.
You can hit a whole bunch of stuff in the center. There's also the rift on the outside wormhole edge.
There's
And
there's the Rift Detour where it's got the alpha and the beta.
Oh,
exactly,
it's
that's exactly
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this
between
one.
all those different wormholes and rifts, like you can get to a lot of places.
I just replaced this tile, Eronous, I think one with the one you made. I put it out
Yep.
here.
Oh,
Even
looks
though,
great.
yeah, even though I stand by my view that was not necessary because we just had like a rift tile with the wormhole tokens on it. But Eronous, you like rifts, I hear.
I also made all the wormhole tokens.
Yeah,
That's
they're
tight.
gorgeous. I mean, I think the alpha and betas one were ones that aren't there ones that Somno made? I'm not sure.
They're ones that got reworked by Sono, but
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have a new set of ones, but they always get overshadowed because they have a very funky name.
Mm.
So if
Yeah.
you're adding in wormholes, type in Eronous custom wormhole.
Yeah.
Ah.
I really
I
like
believe that
that.
goes up to Kappa.
Yeah, I like that art a lot. I wanted that to use that for Frunkit, but this is the beta style wormhole that I think Somna rework, which looks really good. It doesn't feel like it's a token. It just feels like it's part of the tile.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crucible is huge. I actually think, JJ, to your point, I think Cavalry in early on was the most important promissory note, which is partly why Nomad was like raised to promise. When everyone had just like one carrier going around, Cavalry was huge. I think Crucible is definitely getting there. IFF is also really impactful. And if
Oh,
poor
yeah.
Empyrean, if the poor Empyreans
Oh
weren't eliminated,
God, dude! Don't even get me started on it. I just was gonna say that earlier.
Ether
Like,
Stream would have been
yeah,
huge. Would have been
so huge,
huge
dude.
here.
So huge.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I think they would have been a good mix in the game, but you know, it's like I gotta respect Susan for the opportunity. I mean, they were just right there. It was like the opportunity was there. It's what Susan loves to do the most.
Yeah.
So Susan followed their bliss, and I can't.
It was perfectly done. Yeah,
Can't
but
judge him. It was well done.
why
Yeah.
Empyrean? Anyway. Yeah.
The Ghost CF Club is very funny.
Oh, it's
I think I was
hilarious.
the most recent joiner of it,
Oh yeah.
but my reason for doing it is because I am Mahawked. My CF means nothing.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's true. I think it's a very sensible trade for you, and the Ceasefire Club that Ghosts has going on. I think it's another one of like my favorite, artifacts of this game. You know, like who would have thought of the Ghosts just like hoarding half of the table ceasefires? Like you really wouldn't have thought of that, but it's a deal that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And they started it very early on. That's another thing, like Nomad with the Cavalry. They were like round one, uh, you know, people were like using Hakan, but they're like, we're neighbors with a lot of people. We'll do all the trades for you. We're going to have a lot of PDS. So it's like PDS free, transactions help, and IFF all on tap for free. Just give us your ceasefire. That's all.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's a lot. And the thing that happens with a game like this is it's just like Mentak saying, I'm not pillaging Nomad, Nomad sending money. It's like you get to a point where like, I can't like calculate every trade good or every transaction. Like the Humble Checkmate joins and is like, why aren't we pillaging? And it's like, look, we can't think about it. Like there are fault lines, right? They were created long ago. And this is how it works. And Ghosts very early on were like, we're on the good side of a lot of people with power that want to do all this elimination. If Empyrean were to work the politics of the table more early on to be like, hey, Jol-Nar, let's get Ether Stream right away. You're going to get free Ether Stream all game long. Just make sure I'm not eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have ended up very differently, I think, right?
It's
Yes.
very interesting. I mean, at the very beginning of the game, to be honest, I was nervous about the SAR because we started right next to them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No,
Yeah, let's look
SAR's
at
no
them.
joke. Like
Yeah.
we know what they do, and like there's
They
a
parked
little
right
alpha,
next to your
Yeah, like that's just the safer the map, right? Like there's a little alpha asteroid literally right next to us. It's like, you want to do a little ceasefire swap there, baby?
Yeah. And then we got officially hitched.
Yes.
Which was another one of my favorite moments.
Yes.
And
like, you know, I'm a big believer in like I'm not gonna go and mess with my support partner. Like those planets down there, Dalbutha and Zihan, were like empty for a long time, and like we just didn't even touch them because like that's not my thing.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah,
man.
But yeah, like there's all this dynamics at the beginning where it was like survival.
Yeah.
And how do you just get to the later game, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble. So like we hunkered down and we did like PDS techs, and we didn't do Graviton yet, although maybe we should have. But just focused early on defense and just survival. Like there's so many factions around here, things can go silly.
Yeah, and Moose as Calaris, tag team with Frox, was actually took Graviton as the starting tech, the yellow starting tech.
Oh yeah.
And people were like kind of like making a
Why?
joke of it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
and it's a strange choice. But at the same time, they went PDS heavy right away. They had
Oh yeah.
PDS2, and that Graviton was like, oh my god, we can't mess with them. Like there are single carriers going everywhere
Yeah.
with just a couple of fighters and stuff. It
So
became very effective.
for real, when we were planning our invasion of Mechatol, the number one factor that we had to contend for was Graviton PDS from Colaris.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because like we could get through the fighter screen, we could get through the bombard, etc. But like if PDS Graviton went off,
You don't want
we
to lose your starters.
we would have, yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
a
would have
huge
been
deal.
it would have been a huge deal.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
did you just pay them off, or what happened there?
basically, like we made an agreement where so we already promised research agreement to another faction, actually Mahawk, for
Yeah.
this next round because they're gonna pay us for Cruiser 2. But then we just promised like, hey, next round, Colaris, you get first shot at research agreement because you're not gonna fire on us here because
Mm.
it was just all about the meme, just trying to get through and take the winning.
My favorite thing about this is if you look at these two systems, you can see the carrier is sustained in both. Of course, that is the cavalry.
That's right. Making big use of that cavalry still.
Oh my god!
And
I
of course,
love it.
war funding and all this stuff. Every single
Oh
thing,
yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we could buy it, we did.
Yep.
And even the
I
ones
love
that we
that.
couldn't buy, we tried.
God, this game is all politics, and that's why it's my favorite. It's all like just galactic politics at
Yeah.
play.
Massive.
Everyone fucking scheming, and everyone's got their like secret chats that actually aren't secret. And
Yeah.
that's a funny thing that happens where someone just like pops into a thread and it's like, oh, you weren't necessarily supposed to find this one. You know?
But at the same time, a lot of conversation do go unnoticed or missed because
There's so much.
there's so
There's
much.
so
Yeah,
much
and
of
it's
it, yeah.
so it takes so long. Like you forget stuff,
Yeah.
right? And time goes by. One last thing I wanted to mention, and then you can tell me if there's anything else that we should talk about, is Hakan said, hey, anyone wants to sell me their support? And immediately Extra said,
Oh,
yes!
yeah. Oh, yeah. And then that caused a huge controversy, actually.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't know if I would call it a huge
Well,
controversy.
it wasn't huge.
But there's
like,
definitely...
Expendable was very upset.
Presumably he cares, which I don't believe. But yes, we also, I as the Bugs, because I was left alone with the Bugs at that point, sold Hakan our support, and of course Expendable, who plays Mentak, made a lot of noise about it. But it did open up like another new kind of chapter of this game, which you can imagine. You said it's all politics. That's why it made me think about that.
Yeah.
You know how some games, including some tournament games recently, end up with like controversial support swaps. You know, the support for the 10th point or whatever that does happen on occasion. This game, I mean, there could be more elimination, etc. But you can imagine, like, JadimJedi were talking about getting hitched or whatever. You can see like 10 supports being given to someone at some point. Like
Sure.
This is something that can happen in this game. And so
Yep.
the game could be over if, for whatever reason, 8 people decided to give support to Cabal or something.
I'm just waiting for pay to win. Like, come on, Nomad Coin. You know that you're gonna buy every support out there. Let's just go ahead and jump to the end game now.
Pay to win, baby.
I would actually like to see the TI Great Depression.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
am
the
hoping
collapse.
on economic ruin.
Yep.
I'm
I
telling
think
you,
it can happen.
if that happens, the Bugs will survive. They will survive the apocalypse. The Bugs.
No, I believe it, dude. I believe it.
All right, before we wrap this up, what?
Nope.
You
I
were
was just
saying?
going to say that we're at the center of the galaxy, like we've just been forgotten about for a very long time, and it's kind of funny.
What did we forget about?
Just Mahawk in general.
Mahawk. No one forgets about Mahawk. But yeah, Mahawk you're doing a great job in the politics. Actually, I mean, you play a significant role now in the Nomad Corporation. You're actually a little light on plastic relative to some of these, big guns that are around here, big sharks.
I hope to change that in the coming future.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's not like the bugs have much to talk about. I mean, they're all gonna get X-89 suffocated very soon. These silly cruisers.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
We've been at, like, the
Yeah.
bugs have been on like 0-1-0 at the end of every round until this round that we finally took leadership. Like, we've had
Why
no
do you think
tokens.
X89's coming? Why do you think X89's coming? Huh?
Well, because apparently it's a good tech and everyone has it now. Everyone with War Suns. Anything to talk about that has happened recently in PBD 100 before we wrap this up? We are at the end of round 4. Definitely Nomad Coin. Let's look at their ledger, actually. I think it's gone completely crazy.
Do you want to show
recently.
the scoreboard?
The scoreboard, I did show it before.
Oh, okay.
So we have Cabal at 6. Of course, we have no more Winu. We have Cabal at 6. Jol-Nar and Yin at 5. I mean, that's kind of the pack here. And of course, if you go, I can show you, go all the way to 0. Muat and Nazrok are still at 0.
Oh man.
Very, very sad.
That's a rough game.
Rough.
I mean, Muat has
I
not
have
had
1
their...
point.
You have 1 point, yes. Along with Argent and Nalu. Argent also didn't have their home system for a while because Jazz, evil Arbor Jazz, had to score Become a Martyr there. That was pretty funny.
Evil Jazz.
Jazz!
I do
Yeah.
love Jazz a lot, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a scoreboard. Of course, the bot is not actually designed for 30-player games, so this is why Cabal is like here. But this is the Minister of Commerce. Let's look at the monies. Jol-Nar currently with 11 trade goods. You can see this tech board. What are you going to even swap with the hero? You've got it all already, right? Look at this.
I mean, the goal is no swaps.
Getting everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, what we'll probably realistically end up doing is once somebody's like, hey, I want to give you a sweet offer for Lightwave, we'll hero get rid of all the good techs and just go research the good techs again and just sell them to people a second time.
Beautiful.
That still is cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Still is cool. Yeah.
Not as intended, but look at this. IE X89. Look at this, like, really nice upgrade wall. Then, of course, the Weird Bears are here. Nomad currently with 79 trade goods.
Woo! Yeah.
And 21 on
bad.
Still hold
Artuno.
the record at 130.
There you
Not
go.
for long.
Yeah. No, this is
Not
just the
even close.
beginning. This is just the beginning of it. Yeah.
21 trade good on Artuno.
Yeah. Simple's dream is becoming a reality.
That is insane. I
That
can't
is
believe
so
that.
silly.
I missed that, actually. That's so insane.
Yeah. Money will soon become a complete construction and fabrication. And we will surpass the limits of money in this game.
Yeah, and
It's gonna get ridiculous.
Here's the
I gotta tell this I gotta tell this funny story really quick.
Yeah.
Where I was what happens with Mantis, who's on my team with SAR. What happens with him and I is that he's like not super tuned into the everyday of the game, but it's like I give him these reports, and then he holds counsel with me, and we talk about the finer points of what's going on. So I filled him in about the Nomad coin and told him specifically about the whole thing of like, oh yeah, you can give your TA to double the balance of your Nomad coin. And he was just like so dismissive, and he was like, that sounds like how you become a bag holder.
Yeah, just waiting for the whole pyramid scheme to fall, you mean?
Exactly. He's like,
Nomad's good on it.
like,
Look at
it's
this.
not going to work. And I was like, well, I hope it works out because we fully divested everything into Nomad coin.
Yeah, SAR at 12.
completely divested right now.
Oh my gosh! The good news is
Invested. Yeah.
the good news is
Yeah.
if you get fleeced, we can just go with Bernie Madoff memes instead.
Hey, there we go.
Just put Nomad's face straight on it.
I managed to mute myself again. But yeah, look at this. This is
So funny.
SAR has 12 Nomad coins plus
Yep.
16. Starduck the Bugs, my last thing in the leadership of the Bugs was to also invest everything we had in Nomad coin with the hope that we can survive another round. So look at this. But even if you think, 12, 11 trade goods, I mean, look at these numbers that Nomad is making now. 3 times getting refreshed with 21 trade goods gained every time they get refreshed, in addition to the 6 commodities.
Crazy.
So that's 27 times 3 every round before they get to Mahawk shenanigans. By the way, Mahawk, let's look at this nice Imperia board. Very nice. It's a very nice Imperia board.
Oh yeah.
8 fleet supply. Love it.
The rest of my tokens are gone.
That's right, 001. You should have infantry in the status capsule, I think. No, right? Aren't they there?
I've been notoriously lazy about the stasis capsule, like anytime, because who wants to put 125 infantry in the stasis capsule? Not me, because it'd probably break.
Yeah, I know. Break it. It's good. Break it now. It's good.
Before we move on, I'm actually there's one game, forgot the number of it, but that is the Mahawk money making machine where I'm at 130 trade goods. I am the reason why the bot got fixed that you can add more than 100 infantry in one instance.
That is correct. That is correct. I think that's on Stroder somewhere, but yes, that is true. That has happened. Look at this. This is it.
There it is.
By 60 trade goods. Eronous has been keeping us updated, and we all have been following this. It's very, very good. Look at this, 106. This is it. This is it.
There you go. There we go.
We are getting there. All right. Anything else about PBD 100 before we wrap this up?
Let's go on to the new hotness.
Actually, wait. I've got one thing before you move on.
Okay.
Although I am excited to hear about 500. So, Mentech was going to take one of my planets. This was when I was getting tornadoed. I offered them the sweet deal of I'll draw you a really bad MS Paint drawing to not.
It's about Echo, right? This planet right here.
Yeah.
A very good planet. Nav Suite on tap is a great legendary ability, which, by the way, it turns out, Brassbird, that they've moved it to Horus, which is one of the other, but like we started this game with these abilities, so we're not changing them mid-game.
Oh, you're talking about the new update for that thing.
Yeah,
interesting.
So it's very confusing.
Interesting.
Ethan is the worst planet. I don't know how Ethan works.
It's just a good planet for a space dock, and it's a techscape. It's any color techscape, and it's a good planet for a space dock. This is it. It's the 6-0. You know, a production native to a planet is just very good. And then you use it once for 6 resources, and it dies. That's it. All right, so this was PBD 100. This is our update. Of course, I mean, I don't know why I say of course, but I've been pretty silly in thinking about new things to do. I mean, PBD 500 came up, and I was like, oh my god, I can't ignore this. Is such a big milestone. Then I thought of a big game to do there, but we didn't have the actual tiles to fill the map, and so we're almost at PBD 700, but PBD 500 has yet to start. But we finally finished the map, and so I'm going to probably try to finalize the rule set in the next few days.
Whoa.
Okay.
And then we're going to start this. This is going to be another...
I love it so much.
Another 24
4 galaxies.
Game. Yeah.
4 corners.
Yeah.
1 Mechatol Rex with a ring around the rosy.
Yeah. No, this is not complete.
Yeah, so is the intention for the ring around Mechatol to be like wormholes in every single one of those?
Yeah, I mean, this is not complete. I keep muting myself on Discord. How did I do this? What did I
I
do to
don't know,
change
dude.
the binder? Right. Anyway, yeah. It's another 24 player game that is going to be a nightmare for everyone involved, including it's going to break the bot in a variety of ways, and the devs are going to be like, why are we even doing this? And then slowly, maybe some of them will do it. So it's going to take us back to doing some manual things. But here's the pitch. Listen to this. Four
Yep.
Galaxy are playing essentially separate games, but with the same
Mm-hmm.
objective board. See, PBD number
Mm-hmm.
500, we're not joking anymore. So they each have their own um, nexus that's going to work like Malice, like start face down and only get flipped when you get a delta, a gamma in your galaxy. By the way, we just didn't have enough distinct planet tiles to even do this. And then Eronous started pumping out these beautiful, gorgeous tiles. And we've added them all to the bot, so we're going to have a ton more variety. This is Selen 2 and whatever. This is all Eronous tiles. And then we also added, like in the middle here, Tarok. This is Discordant Stars additional tile.
Oh,
So we have a
word.
ton of new stuff. So we have the custom Somno tiles like Crispy and Meth. We have
Of course, the meth planet.
Ryun 5 and Real Arhon and Yinis. These are all Eronous planets. And then we have also the Discordant Stars new planets. And so there's all sorts of. So this is the Discordant Stars, for example, the 4-0 and 0-4 planets. So single systems. So there's just a lot of new stuff here. That we added. Silence, this also from Discordant Stars. So it's really fun and it's pretty gorgeous. But here's the pitch. So four galaxies are playing what are going to be essentially separate games, right? And the legendary planet in each of their galaxy is what's going to be the Mechatol Rex system for their galaxy. So if you hold Hope's End and you play Imperial card, you get the 1 point for your galaxy. And this central Mechatol Rex is going to be inaccessible at first. However, at some point in the game, I'm going to add these wormholes here that are going to open at some point of the game, where if you are above, I have not finalized the rule set, but it's going to be something like 6 or 8 points. Then you could also go to Mechatol Rex, and at first it's going to be a system where players can coexist from different galaxies. And if you own Mechatol Rex and flip Imperial, you'll get 2 victory points. But but Brassbird, here's the real thing that made me do this the seed of the idea is that at some point where the game master, which is going to be me because I'm not playing in this one, is going to decide at the end of one of the rounds, only 2 players, the 2 lead players of each galaxy will remain. And everyone else is going to become like vassals, like this game variants where they have no more turns.
Whoa.
And they're going to be they're going to still have their abilities. They're going to be the faction. They're going to be frozen on the board where they are. And the game will transition to an 8-player game of only the top 2 from each galaxy. But the rest of the players, the vassals that are going to frozen, they're going to be like the survival tribe, eliminated people. Because Titans Agents is going to still be there. Like the Titans players could decide to play it if they choose. Yin Agent, promissory notes, action cards they still have in hand. They can still, so they can either play for whoever is the winners from their galaxy or they can hold grudges. But at that point, all the wormholes will open and you can travel from one galaxy to another. And from there on, the 8 final players will basically play on all 4 galaxies.
Wow. So interesting. Oh, wow. That's a whole twist I never would have thought of. I'm Teaspoon. I'm so tickled by this whole thing because I had told you earlier that I'd say this is probably a year and a half ago to like 2 years ago. I had a very similar, almost exactly similar idea for well, this is how I would do a 24-player game, is that it's like 4 different galaxies and you got Mechatol Rex and this whole island in the middle, and then blah blah blah. Like it's 4 separate games happening simultaneously with the same objectives, like very much the same. But you have put a level of polish and shine on this whole idea that I never would have been able to achieve if I ever got back to actually writing that rule set or anything. And I love this idea of like the top 2 go on to the finals. There's like a finals game within the game.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole preliminary part and then the finals match. Oh man, that is such a cool idea. I love that.
I have so many questions about this game.
Well, you'll get to ask them just playing the game.
Can I ask now?
I mean, I don't have answers to everything, but you can stir some. You can ask some questions. Let's stir some conversation. Yeah.
All right. So first of all, can you interact with the other galaxies at all? Like the obvious one is like Hakan. Like at the beginning,
no.
In theory, okay,
Yeah.
so they're just interacting with their own little galaxy only.
Yeah. Yeah.
And IFF can't go to other galaxies, etc.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. And so if Winnu gets the Lazix gatefolding, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It just goes to the Mechatol of their own galaxy?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And what about Malice? Because Malice is theoretically one that all of them could get to.
They can't. So each galaxy has their own nexus. So the top left has Quam.
Okay.
The top right has Malice. I just don't have like an art. The bottom right, currently it's Lloyd, but I don't think I'm going to keep it Lloyd. I'm going to switch it to one of the other legendary planets. But yes, each galaxy is going to have. They're going to play completely separate games until the point of the merger. And at the point of the merger, only 2 players from each galaxy will qualify. Now, an idea that I've been toying with, but I think it's a terrible idea, so I'm probably not going to do it. But I've been really attracted to the notion of doing a joint agenda phase, even while they're separate games, because most of the agendas, I think, could be applied in all the separate galaxies separately. But that would require that each game waits for all the others at the end of each round, and then what if Custodian's taken? Yeah. And the whole point is that I want the games to be able to like kind of advance at the pace of a 6-player game, at least for the first half.
Okay, so in theory, like one of the games though could get out of sync if you let them go kind of independently. Like one of them might be racing ahead because you got 6 active players.
That's
6
right.
Active
teams.
But and the other 3 lag behind potentially.
Yeah. But I will be as a GM keeping my my finger on the pulse, because at the end of each round I will institute some kind of 4 galaxy wide event. And so they're going to have to wait for the other games at least a little bit. They can't reveal the objectives and all this stuff. Like we're going to have to work out on how does that, how well will that work. But when I say that, I just mean I'm telling you a rule set now. I might change the rule set if it like feels unworkable.
Sure, because if you know which event is coming on, I mean, politics, it almost feels like it has to be a separate deck for each galaxy at that point, right? Because otherwise politics doesn't do as much for Galaxy 3.
Oh yeah, that's the same problem we had in PBD 100. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe. So the agenda thing, I know it's a bad idea. I still would like to think to see if I can find a way to make it work, but in general, these should be 4 separate games until the merger.
Okay. And so once the merger happens, let's just say, I don't know, it's Jol-Nar and Hakan in the first galaxy, for argument's sake. And so they're the only ones that get to still move pieces around the board, right?
Yeah, they are the only ones that have turns.
For their part? Okay. And then can they fight with the other factions at their galaxy, or do they?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, if I wanted to, like, let's just say Starpoint was an NRA planet.
Yeah.
I could say, hey, NRA, give me that planet for scoring purposes if they wanted to help me.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to retreat. You have to fight them. Yeah. But yeah.
So I would have to fight them. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So I have actually a Vassal game that I'm running. It was Saren's idea first. There's actually also a similar mechanic in the Game of Thrones board game that
Okay.
they added with the expansion, which is really cool. But basically, I have a bunch of players playing as vassals, and basically all they do is like so in that fog. It's a fog of war game, so I don't want to talk about it too much. But yeah, basically there are players who are just like neutral pieces on the board that you have to fight if you want to take what's there, and they have some minimal ability to impact the board. Now, I thought it would be cool. What I ran into in the Vassal game that I'm running is that when you give people the ability to do stuff, they actually want to do a lot more. So I didn't give the Vassals very much to do, and they wanted to do stuff. They were like, "Oh, this is really cool." So I thought, what better way to have vassals than people who were in the game until recently, who have their grudges and binds and
Sure.
promises, and just be frozen in time at the end of it. Like you lost the game, now your pieces are still on the board, and you get to choose what to do if you're attacked or if the window for your ability applies. But other
And how
than
are you
that,
going to decide? How are you going to decide the final two from each? Is it going to be purely points based?
Yeah,
Is there going to
points.
be a mix of
No.
just points?
Yeah.
So theoretically, you could have like a Winnu who's got 8 points and like 2 planets, but it's Mechatol in their home system,
Yeah.
and they could be one of the 8 going into the final.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. And how many points is this game going to go to? Do you know?
I mean, I've set it at 14, but
14. Okay. Okay.
it's gonna take
It's
a
a
long
very-
time.
I'm sure it'll take a long time. It's a fun idea, for sure. It's so different than from any way we've ever really played before. There's so many unique pieces to it. Let's assume Ghost does become one of the final 8. Then at that point they could go do IFF, or even if they're not, I guess if they're a vassal, they could do IFF all over the place and go crazy with that. Then at that point, right?
That's right. At that point, but at that point, all the wormholes open up anyway, so all the betas become connected. All these Eronous Epsilon will be connected. All the alphas will be connected. Yeah.
Right, but there might be like that Epsilon or whatever near Kanara's home system, and hey, let's go make a Epsilon wormhole near wherever I need it to be, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, Ghost's ability can only create alpha, betas, and gammas, and their abilities only work for those. That's how they're kind of balanced with the rest of the wormholes.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Epsilon, it's not going to generate more.
Epsilon is
Okay.
special, okay? It's a special,
Well, I go all the way to Kappa, too.
beautiful. Yeah, I love it. Kappa wormholes.
But the point stands. Like you can then lay an alpha somewhere in a different galaxy or a beta or whatever, and there should be some insane cross galaxy windslaying happening at that point. It could be I can foresee a lot of things going wrong. Some people may be like, I'm not really in this game. Why are people pestering me still for use of the Yin agent? I was like eliminated
Sure.
like 8 months ago. But you know what? We'll deal with the nonsense when it comes. For the time being, those 100, 500, 1,000 games are just like party games, right? They're a way to celebrate the channel, async play, to get to just. I'm a big fan of mega games. That's where PBD 100 comes from.
Yes, I love them.
Right. And one thing I wanted to do in 500 a little bit more than 100 is to have like NPCs, quote unquote. But who wants to do that? Whatever. So the idea is, if you play in this game and you lose, you don't qualify to the second half, you become an NPC basically. You're still on the board, and you can threaten beforehand or carry your legacy of whoever you love and hate into that state of the game.
It's very cool, Teaspoon. Looking forward to this one.
All right. Well, I think this is where we should wrap this up. It's getting late. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Jadim
Such a
Jedi,
pleasure.
You got to cross off that last thing on your list, so now you can, I don't know, retire from TI before the SCPT finals. Just
Yeah, I won't even bother with the finals. I'm done. I've crossed everything off the list. The bucket list is done.
yeah.
Yep.
Of course, Eronous, you're not done, right? You have some tokens to collect before you're done, right?
Many.
Many.
Man.
Brassbird,
Yes.
you have some
I love
joy.
you.
You have some joy to spread, right? That's what you do.
Who, me? I don't know how much joy I'm spreading with all these fucking yin problems that I'm having. By the way, Yin just won Community Game 9.
Oh, they did? I missed it
They did.
again?
Yeah. It just happened. Literally, it looks like a betray a friend win make? Perhaps? Enabling betray a friend, but I don't know. That's a whole other thing. I just thought it was hilarious how I was like doing all this whole like, oh, Yin is ruining my life, and then Yin wins a community game of all fucking things.
Yin's too powerful.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, Spoon, love you always. Thank you for having me. I would love to be here doing this with you as often as I can possibly do it.
Yeah, Brassbird, you are please, sir. I want some more Nomad coin.
It's true.
Yeah. And
It's true.
well, we talked about this before, the Nomad coin meme.
Love it.
All right, Brassbird, much love. JadimJedi,
Yes.
Eronous, thank you so much. Eronous, thank you for all the work you've done on the bot, and a shout out to Beck and Asteroid/Schmuller, who have done all this work to make PBD 500 possible for no reason other than I nagged them repeatedly saying I want more planet tiles, and I am beyond joyous to see this just happening. It's just happening. So this is gonna happen. Yeah. Eronous?
Well, more colors coming soon. Also, get ready for FO30 Part 2.
Oh, all right.
All right. Well, on this note, good night.
Good night.
Adios.